Ministry, welcome back. And for those who first tuning in to us, welcome to Rogue Ministries. Hey, I want to tell you a little bit of story. Sitting at the VA hospital in Huntington, West Virginia last week, I got to listen to two old Korean War veterans talking. And one was sitting with his grandson. Well, as they talked, one of the old veterans got called back. And his grandson got up, and the other old gentleman said, "You tell your grandson he's doing a good job." Well, the grandson kind of looked at the older man, grabbed his grandfather, and wheeled him back to his appointment. A few minutes sitting there, an old lady looked over at the elderly gentleman and says, "I think that was a girl." The old man looked at me in confusion and says, "I just can't tell anymore. Breast or not, you just can't tell no more." And he sat there the whole time confused, shaking his head while I'm trying to hold back laughter. But here's my point. When did men become women and women become men? When did we switch roles? When did we take it upon ourselves to try to look like one another? These days you have women that are strapping their breasts down, and I don't care if they are lesbian or not. They are taking on the role of a man. They're putting themselves in the role of a man. What happens if she gets into an altercation with a man? Is she going to be able to help herself? I know a few women that can. But is she going to do it? And what's up with these men that are plucking their eyebrows, trying to make themselves look more presentable to this world? When are men going to start looking like men and being how God had created them to be? Open your books up. Let me find my spot here, guys. Open your books up to Deuteronomy, and this is what God tells us. He says, "The woman should not wear that which is pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God." That is what God is telling us how we must be and act. Not just the garments, but just the entire attitude. The way we talk, the way we walk, the way we think. You got men out there that don't have one testicle between their legs to stand up to their women. And I'm not talking with brute force. I'm talking about with gentle, firm love. That doesn't happen anymore. The man is no longer the head of his house. He has stepped down and let his woman take that role. We need to take back what is ours. Women, I don't hate to say it because God says it. It's right here in the Bible. You need to take your place as the woman. I'm going to ask my wife, my camera woman, to spin the camera around. Can you please turn that and point it at yourself, babe? Please, just do it. There you go. There's a woman. Can you spin it back around? Here's a man. I'm not the prettiest individual in the world. That's because I'm a man. I'm not supposed to be pretty. But open your books up and go to Mark. Okay? Chapter 8. And it starts at verse 22. And he says, "And he cometh to Bethsaida, and they bring a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man in by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands up upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up, and he said, I see men as trees walking. After that he put his hands again upon his eyes. And the man looked up, and he was restored, and saw every man clearly." Now, I probably stepped on a bunch of toes there with the first part of this sermon. Hey, it happens. It's going to happen. I'm not politically correct. I'm never going to be politically correct. And I'm not going to sugarcoat any kind of message I need to give to you. So if I stepped on your toes and they're still out there, hey, it's your luck. Sorry about it. But here's what Jesus was getting at. God determines what we need to look like. But being humans and being a creature of failure, and we fall short every day, we decide we want to dictate what we look like. But Jesus Christ says, quit being blind to the fact that you need to look at the heart of the individual. Just because you can see with your eyes doesn't mean that you're seeing. Open your heart to whatever the individual looks like and love that individual no matter what they're wearing, no matter how they carry themselves, whether they be gay, whether they be straight. If a woman desires to look like a man, that is on her, but it is not up for you or me to judge. I'm just pointing out the fact how God wants us to be. Hey, this has been Barry coming at you this week. Until next time, keep your eyes on the prize. I love you and God bless.